This is Ariel Isaac Norman with your ongoing news. In ongoing news, I think we can all agree that we just want to go back to the gay pride flag. Maybe we could call it something else. Oh, just the pride flag, the gay flag. How much is the gay flag? In an effort to be never excluding anyone, as exclusion is against our religion, the gay flag has transformed over the years from one that was inclusive of everyone to one that explicitly said, hey, this is inclusive of brown and black, to also trans, to also intersex for some reason needed to be specifically in the flag, even though that's one of the many, and then disabled. So the gay one originally meant everyone, and I think we're all just at a point where we would it just feels like especially when you start adding more and more and more things, this is the flag for anyone who is not a straight, able-bodied white person. It's starting to feel, well, and it's been feeling increasingly for a long time now, like a everyone but you flag, which makes it pretty star-bellied Sneetch-esque, I would say. For those of you who haven't read or don't remember your Dr. Seuss, please go back and read the star-bellied Sneetch's story. Apparently, we all need to go back to kindergarten or first grade and relearn these things. It does feel a conspiracy theory of mine is the people who want to cancel Dr. Seuss, or Louis C.K. for that matter, kind of want us to cancel the people who have taught us some of the most important moral lessons. Yes, they happen to be racist or sex predators or sex pests at least. What man isn't? Can we put that out there? But they had a lot to teach us, and canceling them it hurts us more than it hurts them. But anyway, yes, if Dr. Seuss was racist, so by the way, was everyone at the time Dr. Seuss was alive. I don't think anyone even thought up the idea that you shouldn't be racist until like the 1960s. Maybe Jesus. Jesus had that idea. Then it went away for a long time until some people readopted it in about the 60s. So, and that's in America. For most of the world, they still don't see any problem with being racist. They are supremacists of their own culture. Many of them, not all countries feel that way. A lot of them are chill and laid back, but like, I won't name names, but there are plenty of countries where they feel that they are the best. And one of them I agree with, but so, Dr. Seuss was racist is the point. Yes. But the star-bellied Sneetches is one that we could really all stand to. Like, whatever you think of how dangerous Trump is, and Elon Musk to boot, it doesn't help to think of your fellow man as the bad guy, as irredeemable, as unlovable. And there's a ton of people in the middle we could all be finding common ground with and building a very strong coalition of reasonable people who wouldn't mind having a good person or two in government. But, you know, when the liberal side is so insufferable that they'd rather say, fuck you, there's, you know, on both ends of the spectrum, people want to burn this country down. So do we have a death wish, or do we want to get together to save the country? Anyway, point being, let's go back to the gay pride flag. That was a fun one. Everyone, it was cute. You could always tell who was how old in the gay community by whether they got what kind of tattoos of the gay flag, because, you know, you're either young enough to get it somewhere, or because, you know, most of us get over getting the rainbow flags by the time we're 19 or 20. But then some of the older lesbians will get gay pride calf tattoos. And I wonder if they all update them every time, because that's my, you know, they keep going back to the tattoos person, like, I'm a bigot if I don't get the next iteration of this. I don't want anyone to think I'm a transphobic. I don't want anyone to think I'm racist. I love disabled people. You know, the intersex, who has a problem with them? So you just got to keep adding it. That's the other thing. Here we are, all these environmentally conscious lesbians, at least, not the gays. They don't care about the environment. They're a bunch of materialists. All they want to do is party and consume. So they never cared. But the lesbians, supposedly, we love the environment. Maybe we're in a simulation and resources aren't real anyway. But in case they are, can we just go back to the gay pride flag? It's weird to have to be like, oh, do we need to update this one or else we don't like disabled people? And the racist thing got everybody. I mean, that's the thing. Like once you make it about race in this country, and that's how you know how unracist we are. We're the first place that made it really be gay to be racist. And it wouldn't, like growing up, we were all like, yeah, that's fucking lame. That's so weird that our ancestors or our grandparents even like were racist. That's so stupid. We were all over it. That's the thing. I just think most able-bodied cis straight white men were already like mostly pretty cool and just wanted to live in harmony in this country. So the more that a group complains that everyone hates them and that we're oppressed and we need, it just feels like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The gay flag, that was chill. It's like, yeah, I'm either gay or I'm an ally, whatever. Like, we're just putting this out. This means you're safe. These businesses now got to paint the lamb's blood of the black and brown version and then the trans version and then the intersex, the disabled, whatever. Like, I think, because I've seen a lot of the ones with the full intersex version. Let's go back to see that. But I haven't seen a ton where they're actually busting out the disabled one. So sorry, disabled. It was already very strange that we would add you before polyamory and gender fluidity and pansexuality or whatever. But, you're not even one of the letters. Even in the longest version of 2SLGBTQIAPP, I'm forgetting some of the newer ones, but we never did a D. Why are they in the flag? It doesn't really matter. But I guess black and brown, I don't know. I guess it's the progress flag. It's not even, yeah. So anyway, the progress flag and the progress flag we need to be, and then we just have a gay flag. And the gay, all trans people are gay. Some people, I'm going to do a longer video on my whole thing about the LGBT versus LGBT, whatever else. And I have a whole take on that. But like, trans people are inherently gay because you're kind of both things. So no matter who you fuck, it's like at least half gay. So I'm not trying to kick trans people. They're all gay. So that's the fag community. It was the fag flag. More on that in next week's editions of Ongoing News. But about that wraps it up, I hope. Let's just go back to the gay flag. Or we could all split. Maybe we should all split. Instead of it just being, hey, Trump makes us LGB and we're whatever. No, maybe we should just all be off on our own. Lesbians are one team, gays are another. Trans, I might have to edit out some of that. So if I've edited out in any way, that's the ongoing news on the gay flag. I don't know if all of you realize it, but the majority of the country doesn't care for this whole non-binary thing. And so I have a suggestion. I think it would be more of a workable idea if we all just finally agreed that only women can be non-binary. I think if only women can be non-binary, then that's something we could all get behind. If some women just want to kind of describe themselves as a subtype of woman that is non-binary, then maybe I would even identify as non-binary. The problem is it causes a lot of problems to allow men to identify as non-binary. Let me try to go through all of them that I have directly encountered. First of all, you can't hold an all-women event, and I'm not even talking about, because this is the thing, like there used to be an underground lesbian party here in Austin, and it's no longer happens anyway, but it was all word of mouth, and I thought that was cool. And the first few times I went, it was awesome. It was like every lesbian that you'd ever known in Austin would be there, and there was a sex room. And then I started noticing that there were just a lot of dudes there. And I think what happens is if you hold some type of gay or queer event, someone immediately is going to ask, hey, are trans women allowed? Especially if this is a lesbian event, then they're going to ask, hey, are trans women allowed to come? And they're like, oh, of course. And then someone goes, what about non-binary people? And then they go, oh, okay, well, I guess everybody is allowed. Because if you're going to say non-binary people can come, you're not allowed to ask, well, hey, do we mean non-binary chicks or non-binary dudes? But that's a very important question. So I'm at this lesbian party, this underground lesbian party that has a dark room where you can go to like do sex stuff, and people have like little sex things that they're all doing in this like dark room where you can't really see that well. It would be nice to know that there's all women in there. I would be a fan at an occasion like that in terms of the trans women, that we actually go ahead and make some kind of rite of passage where you do cut your balls off at the very least, or maybe you could show us your papers at the door that you've been on testosterone blockers for at least a couple of years. We need to know that you have chemically castrated or physically castrated yourself down to something approximate to the sex drive of a female, so that we know that you are not the part of the sex that is statistically much, much, much more dangerous. And even though, yes, for some of you out there, if you're male, you'll always be male. You can't change to be female, but they can change their hormone situation to the point where they're less predator and more prey. We were at this lesbian party, and all of a sudden I was even literally to walk out to get my coat, I had to go past shirtless, hairy men who were doing a mosh pit at a lesbian party, an underground, not advertised online lesbian party. I was like, what is the point of this? So that's one of the issues. You can't have these lesbian events even. You can't, because most lesbians are non-binary, right? At least, half the lesbians, if they're playing by the paradigm, but whatever. Like, there's all those us that are the boy ones or kind of medium, or there's the bi chicks who, basically never date women, and so they need to feel a little queerer, so they call themselves non-binary, even though they wear dangly earrings and things. But they have short hair, but it looks like a middle-aged woman with short hair, even though they're 23. Well, a lot of people do non-binary in this other way, which is another thing that I don't identify as non-binary. It's just like, I don't understand what it means, because I see different people identifying at some of them are like the boy lesbians, and like, okay, but then not a lot of them are just something else. So it doesn't seem to mean anything in particular. So ultimately this just means that you can't have an event where you can tell someone, oh, this is a women's event or a women's and non-binary event, and know that there won't be any men there. My girlfriend went to a class where it's all women. It had always hitherto been women wearing sexy clothes with each other. They dance. It's a vulnerable, sexy thing that women will do with each other. I don't know. I wouldn't go to that. I don't belong in a class like that. But it's just all femmes doing that. And, there were a couple of times when like trans women came in there and but they were like dressed up as women and like seemed shy and whatever. And then one day there's just a grown-ass man in basketball shorts comes in late, plunks himself down in the middle, and declares himself to be non-binary. So, also, I've had friends talk about, their experience on the dating apps in the last several years, where if you are into masculine lesbians, for anyone who's watching this who doesn't know that, I don't like the word butch. I'm okay with dyke, but it's not just like, there's just a different vibe. But if you're like a femme who's into masc or masc who's into masc, and you want to date them and you want to be able to find them on the dating apps, then you're pretty much going to have to turn on non-binary. You're going to have to say that you're open to dating non-binary people and all these apps. They now ask you into men, women, non-binary, which combination, all, none, whatever. You're asexual, but I guess there are asexual people on the dating apps. Anyway, probably not on Match.com. That's one nice thing about these paid ones. You're probably not going to get the asexual on the paid ones. So you say that, so you're a lesbian and you want to date the boy lesbians, the masc lesbians, then you pretty much have to say that you're into non-binary, because so many of them say that they're non-binary. But what that means is then just every third person is just a dude. And I don't even mean like a dude with long painted nails and weird hair or something. There's some of those, but every third one is a man with a fish and a beard whose name is John, but who obviously clicked non-binary, keep invisible, and it just says man or it says nothing. So I might have missed some of the issues. I'm sure we can always do follow-up episodes of why the non-binary thing is annoying to everyone who isn't actively identifying as it. But I just have this comment. I'd like to leave with a question for people who identify as non-binary. What do you, and particularly for the women, because for the men, I get it, you're a sex pest, but for the women, or you're trying to get booked on comedy shows, or you're trying to get a thing, or, or you're just a gay boy who's kind of confused and it's not cool anymore to just be gay. And so now I get it. There's a lot of reasons why you do it, but just know that the older generations, it's not that we are bigots. It's that we see what's going on. and you guys are confused and just need to figure some things out. But I have a question for the non-binary people, for the non-binary chicks. What do you feel like you have more in common with men who identify as non-binary? And I'm just going to be fun today. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say it in a way that everyone knows what I'm talking about. Do you feel like you identify more, you relate more to non-binary men than you do to other females? Or is there something in particular, sincere questions, by the way, is there something in particular that you identify, that you find that you often have in common with non-binary XY people, penis having non-binary identifying people, that you don't have in common with females? These are real questions. I want to understand more. I know I've been a little bit dry on this one, but it's just kind of an annoyance for me. But maybe there are perspectives that I haven't thought through. Oh yes, and these are just fun pictures of examples of like when you're told that it's going to be a women and non-binary retreat. Although maybe that's a trans dude up there. Or here you go. Oh, it's a lesbian party, is it? Huh. Why is there a man? Why are there always men? Well, I guess he's black, and that's part of our flag now. Further developments in the story of how we all hate billionaires. I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe we need to rethink some of this stuff. Like, I don't want socialism. I don't think it can work in groups larger than a couple hundred people. And I think we're going to have to do some kind of market economy. I don't understand all of this, but I just feel like we need something like conscious capitalism or compassionate capitalism, dare I say Judeo-Christian capitalism. Throw in the Muslims too, by the way. They all believe in taking care of the poor, which we don't do in this country. And I just don't think there's any like religion on the planet where you're allowed to exploit people and not take care of the poor and things. There's no way, like this, any version has to be better than what we're doing. But I think it would be cool to come up with something. People talk about democratic socialism or Nordic socialism, or like let's talk about our capitalism. Our capitalism can be conscious capitalism or something. Maybe we can workshop it. Calling it Christian capitalism could be fun. Like we actually call the Christians on acting more like Jesus when it comes to taking care of the poor. No one's going to like my suggestion, but I had an idea. Maybe we should stop talking as much about killing billionaires and try being grateful to them. I told you no one was going to like it. But look, being thanked is addictive. It feels really good. You know what ungratitude begets? Contempt. So he is hot, though. I get it. And we do feel a certain type of way about the billionaires, especially the ones who are very visible in our lives and we're not sure. But like, I want to tell a story about when I worked at Trader Joe's and also at Juiceland, a company. These are both companies who were like smaller, especially when I worked at them. Smaller, cool companies who were really known for taking care of their employees and treating us well, giving good raises on a timely manner. But when I worked at both of those companies, I found that there were a lot of people who always complained and acted like we were being oppressed at these companies. They actually treated a lot of us really well. A lot of us were artists at both Trader Joe's and Juiceland, and they were flexible with our schedules. Again, we got regular raises. We were helped to, we got a lot of free, very healthy, nutritious, high quality food and drink. And on top of everything that we got for free, we also got a nice discount on anything else that we wanted. Yeah, despite all of this, there were some people who would always just complain as if our company sucked. And I wonder if that isn't the wrong way to go as employees. I think it must have been really hard to treat your employees bad in the early days of one of the companies that I worked for, where I heard that really not long before I got to the company, they still were a small enough company, because we would have parties, like regular parties where it was pretty good and generous and fun stuff, But they used to have parties where they were like doing drugs together. So I can imagine if you do Molly with your employees and you're telling each other how much you love each other and appreciate each other, that you're going to want to treat each other pretty well. So I suggest this. Maybe instead of complaining all the time about how bad we have it, no matter how much better we have it than whoever's working at the next job. And of course, there are always things to complain about, but that's not the point. I'm not suggesting that you're not exploited or that you couldn't be treated better, or that you shouldn't be treated better, but maybe the better tactic would be to spend 5 minutes writing a handwritten thank you note, telling your employer how much you appreciate just how generous they are, just how great it is. You just believe in their product or their service or whatever. You believe in them and you love what they contribute to the world, and you're so glad that it's of such high standards and quality, and that you are inspired to work better for them all the time because of how generous and good they are to you and everyone in their company. If you do that, not only is that going to make them feel like a addictive dopamine hit of I'm a good person and people like me and they're going to want to treat you better that way, but also, you kind of twist their arm because people have to live up to compliments like that. Oh, you're giving me $15 an hour. Well, thank you so much for being generous to me. You don't know, because if I were even making $1 fewer an hour, I wouldn't be able to pay for braces. But this way, and that, which really implies dude, $1 more an hour. You have no idea how much that would do for me at this income bracket. Every little bit counts so much. So I don't know. We could try that. Again, I'm not saying they deserve it, whatever you think about that. Some bosses are better than others. But maybe show them a little gratitude, guilt them with a little gratitude. Don't be weird about it, though. Don't try to guilt them. I'm just saying, they say the universe rewards gratitude. And maybe it does on a woo-woo level. I hope so. But if nothing else, maybe if you literally show gratitude to people, then they go, oh, yes, that felt good. I like this person more. I want to do more nice things for this person. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, instead of whining about your oppression, spend some time being grateful to your oppressors. It might work. It might work. And finally, I'm going to indulge in being a grammar asshole. So the grammar assholery for the day is something I noticed my friend Ruby, who's helping me produce this, said earlier, but I noticed it because people are doing it all the time now. Guys, the word is not height. It's not. It's height. I need to measure the height of that bookshelf. There's no height. You guys are generalizing because it's width and length, but it's height. And if you guys were writing it out, you wouldn't put an H on the end. So I know you have it in you. I know you have it in you to just say height again. Let's not. We got a lot of people in our midst who speak other languages and are trying to learn English, and you're going to teach them wrong. And, let's just all pull together on this one and start saying height again. Make height again. Yeah. I think it's eighth. It's the problem is it's because you see eighth in your mind. It's that EIGHTH. You're putting eighth at the end of the height. It's width, it's length, it's eighth, and then you go height. But it is not. It's height. It's always height. There is no height. Please stop. Maybe there was height in the Shakespeare times, and I don't want to go back to that. It's height. It's a better world where it's height. Don't ask me why. I just think it's too lispy or something. Height. Should it be the height? Is that better? Width and length and height? Would it be? Maybe it would be better to be height. Okay, well, we all have to agree on one or the other. Take a vote in the comments. And that has been Ongoing News with Ariel Isaac Norman. To support me, please follow this podcast, subscribe to it, send it to a friend, share it on social media, just like it, just comment, whatever, anything helps. I appreciate it. Also, what I'm really trying to do is get everyone to my Patreon, where for just $1 a month, you get access to everything I do. I post some stuff here because I need to net in some of you and have it be sendable and things. And I've decided YouTube's the only one I like, and then Patreon is where I want to go. And you can give me more money if you want on there, but no matter what you give me, you get the same thing. So you can give me $1 or $20. It doesn't matter. You get everything that I put out, and you get access to comment on things. Whatever else happens on there, you'll get. I think if you give me $100 a month, give you a phone call or something. I don't know. But other than that, everyone gets the same stuff. So it's just a way for you to simply, easily support me, whether you want my shit or not, I guess. But I hope you do. I'm going to be posting stuff there. And I think boiling everything down to one place where I put stuff will help me to focus and put out better content more consistently. Because you guys don't even realize how I'm like an idiot. Like I'm posting to all these different things and it's so stupid. And so I'm focusing down and it's going to be worth it. $1 a month. What a steal.